Jayo Rama Manoma Kunjavihari Gopi Janavala Yashodanandana Vrijanayandana Yashodanandana Vrijanayandana Yashodanandana Vrijanayandana Yamuna Tira Vanadati Yamuna Tira Vanadati Jayo Rama Manoma Kunjavihari So now this important point comes on meditation. What to meditate upon? I am in a condition that my mind and senses are giving so many dictates. You do like this, you do like that. And I try to manage. And finally I am not able to manage because it's a mess. Actually the fact is, unless a person comes under the protection of a spiritual master, he can't manage his mind. Because, the very one philosopher makes a very nice statement. He says, you cannot learn your life by mistakes because that much time you don't have. Because if you want to learn by making mistakes, so many mistakes you have to make, that much time this life will not going to give you. That much time you don't have actually. So we have to, that is how it begins actually. We have to accept a superior guidance and we have to train our mind to follow it. This is called advancement. Therefore Prabhupada says, unless we become pessimistic about material enjoyment, we cannot advance the spiritual life. So this pessimistic our nature will be revealed by a spiritual master. On our own, we will never become, because Bhagavad Gita, Manushyanam Sahasrashu Kashyudati Siddhaye. How the person Siddha means, at least he has given up. At least Jnani we can take as a Siddha. Jnani, one of the lowest status of now, let us come. People. They are simple people. They can't follow any rules and regulations. This we can say is the closer door. This we call the lowest platform of people. Okay. The slightly better we can say are the people who are actually pious, and we call them karmis, not vikarmi. V is a negative word. That's why I remember last time, Vinayaka. On its own, Ganesha is Vinayaka. He will mislead. V means negative. Vikarma. Karma, Vikarma. But because he holds the lotus feet of Narasimha Deva, a lotus feet of Krishna, there is the shloka there. Yadapada Pallavarinam Yanidaya Kumma Tande Samana Yanadiraja Vignami Handamalamasya Jagatrayasya Govindamari Purusham. So we are also, when we are on the platform of Vikarma, that's over. And that platform, nothing can be done. That's the lowest platform. Kali Yuga people are not even that. With that also you can make categories. 4th class, 5th class, 6th class, 10th class. Prabhupada says Kali Yuga, all of you are 10th class. Actually the fact is we are. So little better becomes Karmi, a pious man. and he has a lot of ambitions, wants to make money, wants to all this thing. And where the nature of thing is, they are depressed generally. You meet any karmi, acutely in mental pain. And then comes Jnani. But even though he has, it's a painful endeavor, all of us are making so many fantasies. Yeah, this if I have, this if I have. And finally you can't have everything that you fantasize, number one. Everybody also cannot have because it is limited. And number two, so much pain is involved in acquiring those things. And if they come, sometimes they slip away from our hand and so many ways. Therefore, and there is a frustration even after you get. That's why that famous joke, Dilli ka laddu jo khaya wo bhi pachta hai, jo nahi khaya wo bhi pachta hai. So the sense gratification is like that. You don't get it, you are frustrated. And you get it, still you are frustrated. Because actually it doesn't satisfy you and leads to so many problems on top of it. Okay? You keep dreaming. If I have this, suppose you keep dreaming, if I have 1 crore rupees, I will be so happy. If I have 1 crore rupees, I will be so happy. Take care. Whole life you are in frustration because you don't have it. You get it, then so many more problems. Income tax people are behind you. Some friends have become envious, somebody has stolen that money. So in either way, Karmi's life is miserable. And that is very nicely explained, Karmi's life in Pa, Fa, Ba, Bha, Ma. It is there in Sanskrit. Pa means parishram. Lot of hard work, labor. Just like you take any education, either engineering or medicine. It's not pleasurable. It is pain. Correct? Anybody can testify. We have also seen it. Parishram. Then Fa. Sometimes so much you have to do night outs. Fa. That is Fena, foam. And then for Ba, Bifala. That even though I am working so hard, even night outs, and recently they did a survey in medicine. They say, I don't know what survey it is, it came in newspaper, 80% students are under depression. And in Nishtha also they did a survey, similar result came out, and they discarded that. They thought the university will get a bad name. So they discarded that research work of somebody. They said, no, you are not studied properly. Actually, there are many kinds of students. They were telling me why they discarded. There are some students who are, from NRI, some students from North India. It's not properly studied, and they found some loophole and discarded it because they thought their college will get a bad name. But the fact is, if you honestly ask students how many people are enjoying their studies, none. Okay? Neither the teachers enjoy teaching. They teach us for money. And when the very teacher is not, just like Veda Vyasa, his condition after writing Vedas, he himself got depressed. So Shastra said when he was depressed, how can the listener be happy? Till he wrote Bhagavatam, he was in trouble actually. He was only doing this Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, he was himself in trouble. So same way, the point is the teacher is not happy teaching, how do we expect student to be happy listening? Correct? They themselves busy with politics, they get 100 rupee more, they jump to another job in some other college. Just 100 rupee, 500 rupee more salary per month. Not even more. Forget teachers, when principals keep rotating here, 15, 20 engineering colleges. I go to one college, say, hey, you are here. Principal is not from there. So anyway, so we get the point is that it's true. Poor is very much true in this world. Labor is painful. When they work in software engineers, they are drink, so painful. They're sick. Just like, we had industries in the previous industrial revolution. The people who are drinking. And you ask them any reason, even now, they said, so painful whole day. They simply make me hammer, it pains. So I drink. So Pa is painful. And worse, Pa is still worse because sometimes you have to do overtime when you are working. Or as students, we have to do night outs. Then Ba, the fact is, they are not satisfied. That's the reason they are depressed. Honestly speaking, actually, the more the education, in our college we had this, and they used to call B.Tech people bachas, B.Tech bachas, this M.Tech PhD people. But it's not so competitive to get into M.Tech in any engineering college, even now, correct? M.Tech, who get really, who don't get anything. So there was not much value for the M.Tech people at all, even in our college, not much value. So we used to always ignore them. Even professors used to not give much lift to them. So they were frustrated, so they used to call B.Tech people bachas. And we used to call them Buddhas. And really the Buddha means their dadi will be there and so depressed. You can't find any one of them. Because more the knowledge, more should be happiness. If the knowledge is true knowledge. Okay? Why do I acquire knowledge? I am suffering. Miserable existence is going on. I want information. I gave that example many times. You're locked in a jail. And somebody comes and tells you, now I will tell you, you know the cloth that you are wearing, it is made of 20 kind of fibers actually. What do you say? I am not interested in this. If you can tell me how to get out of this jail, I am interested. Correct? So there is a, what is the Sanskrit shloka? Vidya Vimuktaya, so many colleges have put it. Knowledge means something which liberates me from all the kind of sufferings. That is real knowledge. And I am looking for that. Suppose somebody comes and says, I tell you now, just like recently, you know, that Mohan Mujahideen fellow, IM fellows, they had made a tunnel to get out of a jail. They were caught in the last minute. Just thoda bacha tha bas. They would have all escaped. And you would have had more blast then. So luckily, their plan did not fructify. They are making a tunnel from the jail outside. And they made some, how many feet? 30-40 feet they dug already. Nice tunnel. So if somebody tells you, similarly they have from Mexico to America. You know, Mexico is a miserable country. America is the world's #1 country, even now, economically or power. Maximum illegal immigrants to America come from Mexico. And they find tunnels, not only for immigration, for drugs peddling also. Tunnels, nice tunnels are made from Mexico to. So like that, even recently Indian government also formed. They were Pakistan, they had got a tunnel to come to India. They got that huge tunnel. It was shocked, such a beautiful tunnel. So if that kind of information somebody is giving you, how to get out of this jail, you will be very interested. Okay? Similarly, we are stuck in the materialist systems. So many ways I have suffering. I have to see this old age. I have to see so many diseases. You go to any hospital, daily they see deaths there. Daily. Any hospital, good hospital. They become so like, their heart becomes hardened actually. In that sense. Because they daily see. A normal man, if he sees death, he gets frightened. For a doctor, he has to daily see in front of him death. Daily. Because at the critical stage, people go to hospital only and they die. Finally. They try until the last minute to survive. So many times people die in the hospital bed. So like that, death is there. So I do not want that. How much painful it will be when I die. 30% people die by cancer, which is the most miserable death as far as I know. Okay? One by one organ is stinking and it is overgrowing. I used to see in the hospital, the radioactivity, that is a horrible area where the cancer grows this much it has grown. Tongue has grown this much. What do they do with that? Cancer is 30%, 1/3 people die. Like in this room, God forbid, but 2 or 3 of this have to die with cancer. Very painful. Heart attack. Whichever one you take, 50% people. It's very so. The very point is this: life is very painful. So if somebody gives me a way, I can be liberated from this painful existence, miserable, painful existence. Prabhupada says, Samsritihi, one beautiful lecture. And so he says, Ugra Samsritihi, one shloka is explained, that very painful material existence we are all part of. So this information we are looking for. So Karmi means he still has some hope that he can make some adjustment and we can be happy inside the jail. In a mad. And at least we are saying Karmi, there are Karmi also, those 2 categories are there. So Pa, Fa, Ba, Bha, we forgot the shloka. Bha means Bhaya. Fear. We have fear continuously in this world, we are full of fear. One time Prabhupada came in, the suffering because of fear is more than other 3. That you have to analyze and introspect see. And then Ma Mrityu, just like an examination paper you give. Amount of fear we go through if I fail that. Some people commit suicide also. They know they spoiled the paper. Day before exam they hang themselves. So that causes more fear. Sometimes you have to tell the result. At least at my home, my younger brother was very intelligent. He used to see my result never reaches the parents. Now you cannot avoid. They have internet and they can, parents can see at home. At time Chitti used to go and we used to manipulate that and pick up the Chitti. So how much we are scared. So bhaya is there. So many varieties of bhaya is there. And the last thing, mrityu, death has to come. So karmi actually is continuously suffering these 5 kinds of problems of material existence. Correct? We have to be realistic. We are not pessimistic. These are the 5 problems. I am supposed to do labor. So much labor, sometimes foam comes from my mouth. That is called phena. And bifala. Even though I work so hard, there is no satisfaction, only frustration and suffering. And then bhaya. Fearful material existence, mrityu. This is the situation. So better than that comes a jnani who understands, yes, material existence is miserable. But karmi is still an idiot that even after seeing these 5 sufferings are ingrained, it's like give you sweet rice and I put some mud into it, some stones into it. Can you eat it? No? Can eat it. So this is called karmi, an idiot who is still trying to eat that sweet rice. And these 5 kinds of stones have been put to. How can you enjoy that? Is a reality of existence. Correct? When somebody understands that, then he becomes jnani. So it's very rare among thousands of idiots you get one knowledgeable man. Prabhupada says that don't bother, there are not many followers. Don't bother. Why? When you sell diamonds, you will not get many customers. They are not able. So because they are idiots, what you will teach them? You tell them existence is miserable. No, it is very nice. I am enjoying it very nicely. And I have a car, I have a bungalow. Are you have a car and a bungalow? What about this They are chasing you all the time. Correct or not? Finally, these 5 sufferings are part of your life. Either as a student or as a worker. Worker is still more actually. And in many professions, engineering or medicine, both of them, nowadays you cannot come back before 7 o'clock. You have to work till 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock. The right is more and more miserable. So a person understands this fact of life, he becomes a jnani. And a jnani is fully pessimistic that sense enjoyment can make me happy. Is sick. So this is a jnani who has come over the sufferings of understood that. And jnani at this situation, so what does the karmi meditate upon? He is also meditating always on sense objects. He is meditating. Therefore for a devotee is equivalent to drinking poison. Correct? His karmi is always meditating on sense objects, either features of opposite sex. That is the biggest pleasure in the material existence is sex life. So he is meditating on that, either grossly, personally, or through the images. Nowadays this all is nothing but can be. These are just a dead instrument, but can be used for anything. But mostly people use it to harm themselves. They are meditating on the features of opposite. Or what the movie does finally, they sit and watch movie. Yesterday some students of night they came to watch movie and got late, no bus from Nishtha. They stayed here in the night. So what they are doing? What do you see in a movie finally? Movie, what they will do? They will decorate this material world so nicely. Actually it is dead. It is dead means it is dead. You sit there when they are making movie, look at each person's personal life. It's fully frustrated. But they will decorate it so nicely. When a girl sees a boy in a park, they will jump. They will not even walk. Actually in normal life, nobody goes to park and jumps. They jump means they really jump. And they make it so attractive. That person feels, so nice. They cheat you actually. And we go to get cheated. We go to get cheated. Actually, material world has no attraction. It is only filled with this 5 kinds of suffering. They never show that. They will never show. In fact, hero will never be a person who is working at all. Because they can't show the suffering. Their whole game is up. Whole Maya's game is up. They will never show a hero who is sincerely working morning to night. Any movie, hero is a loafer. Who doesn't attend class, he sits outside the college and has panga. And that is a hero. Correct? We will go and speak to the principal straight on the face and insult him. He is a hero. That's what they will. Prabhupada says they teach only wrong things there. From where you learn this thing today? The way the students learn, in the class to criticize the teacher. As a teacher, I know that. Or so many things. From where they learn? They learn all this from movies, Because another reason is most of the people who watch movies are all these auto drivers and all this, laborers. They have ample time. They want to go to watch. So therefore movie has to be made for them only. And so they will never make a very disciplined person as, he is an idiot for them. They will never. And anyway, their whole game of Maya is up there. If they show a person working morning to night and struggling and then over, Maya's game is up. They are all servants of Maya. Just, instead of becoming Nimitra Matra for Krishna, they become Nimitta for Maya. They are being used and dragged. And people keep hearing. Not only movies are not enough, then they hear about their opinion, their stories. One hero shouted at a hero, and that becomes another magazine. And people keep reading this garbage literature. So very difficult to get a person with a jnani. You tell him, latest movie has come, sorry, very nice. I'm not interested. I have no hope. It will make me happy. Then he's called a jnani. Correct? Jnani. Are Oscar mila? No use. No use. You tell whatever he is not interested about, that means jnani. He has lost faith. But on your own you cannot get that. Only Guru can give you that blessing. You have to go to a Guru. Tadavidhi pranipatena. Take a shelter. Pranipatena means surrender. You have to understand, more than my mind, somebody is more intelligent than me. Where he got that intelligence more than me? Krishna, from Krishna. Guru Parampara. He learned from his Guru, Krishna. Without Krishna's guidance, you cannot come out of the trap of Maya. Krishna says, no, Devi Esha Kudumai Ma Maya Durantaya. You cannot cross. Mameve Prapadyante. So where the surrender begins? Surrender begins first to hear Krishna. No, first to hear. Prabhupada says, someplace he said, he says that all the leaders are there of the society, Prabhupada, and we are having a lecture there. Prabhupada says, so nice. Because surrender begins from hearing. Let them first hear. Moment they hear us, then only they accept. No, how they will accept what you are telling? If they don't hear us, how they accept? See how common sense logical it is. Unless the leaders of society hear us, how are they going to accept? Therefore we go and give Prabhupada books to them. Please read. Because if they hear, then they will accept. Without hearing, they can't accept. There is no question of accepting the Krishna conscious philosophy. So then what happens? We come to this platform. The jnani, we are fed up. It will not work out. You cannot do on your own. You hear Krishna. So since karmi is only meditating on sense object, he comes to a high level now. Then at this situation, where a person actually abandons his gratification, at that time he wants to meditate on the Lord, but he is not fully mature. So he starts meditating on his God, but he doesn't have conception of God. Therefore, Virat Rupa comes at that point. We have heard about Vishwarupa, Virat Rupa that Krishna showed to Arjuna on the battlefield. At that moment, he can meditate upon. Basically, the God is so great. That's like many religions that ride on the bus. God is great, God is great. Yeah, we accept that. We accept that. Somebody asked Prabhupada, so Prabhupada, what is the destination of these people? Prabhupada said, yeah. Jesus also said, kingdom of God in heaven, they'll go to heaven. But that's all, not to Vaikuntha. Prabhupada clarified. When devotee writes a letter, Prabhupada clarified, they'll go to heaven. Even Muslims talk about heaven only. A lot of apsaras are there. They talk about virgin maids or something like that. Some people make fun of them also after that. But anyway, heaven is there, and there are apsaras there. And apsaras are heavenly prostitutes. They will get them, enjoy. So that's one level of material enjoyment is available. Some God consciousness is there. That's it. So this kind of meditation that God is very great, and I am not body, I am Atma. This kind of meditation, therefore they do this Soham, Soham, Soham. They don't chant names of God. This Ravi Shankar, all these groups, they never will chant the name of God because that's not their platform. Soham, I am that, I am that, I am that. And some pranayama, something like some hodgepodge, some mixture. That's all, nothing more. But still better is a meditation on the personal form of the Lord. That Acharya has to reveal. And devotee is just like we say Krishna. And it is actually so natural. So when you see the Lord decorated in a temple, so pleasing it is. Okay? That is natural. And acharyas know that. All the great acharyas, they maintain. Ramanujacharya maintained, why? So many temples they have encouraged worship. They put that to this day. One Prabhupada went to one temple and it was some 100-150-year-old temple. And the disciples said, Prabhupada, they are just doing puja. So Prabhupada said, let me see how many years you maintain. How much foresight he had. How much vision he had. 150 years I maintained the worship, puja, pata of the Lord, and Ramanuja Sampradaya, the Shri, what you call, Shri Pancharatra is lot of Agama Shastra is there. There is one Agama of the Smarta that we forget, that we reject immediately. Even this Smarta, who was very called Havya Brahmana category, they also have Agama. That we reject because their idea of meditation of God is not correct. But the personal is the Vaishnavas. Just study. There is one Agama which the Smartas have. All the Hindus, what they are practicing today is all coming from Smartas. Actually, it has to be wiped out and rejected. But all customs are there. These are all by Smartas. In fact, Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada wanted him to replace it Vaishnava, Shraddha, Vaishnava, all the kriyas that are happening now. Your death ceremony, this, that, all is by Smartas. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada said Vaishnava, Shraddha should be there. All he wanted to replace actually. He was a revolutionary. But the way it is done, what the Brahmanas make puja pata, mostly Smarta. It has a Smarta foundation. Isn't it? You see their whole, it's all Karma Kanda. Smartas are very interested in only Karma Kanda. But the Vaishnavas, they are interested in Vaikuntha. So they are the whole practice, everything is for a different category. They say, they have that also. Vaikuntha Agamana, something they say. But anyway. So now, that is another subject, we'll enter later. I also let me do more study, but Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada does say that. All the practices today are Smarta practices. Now, let us go back to where we were. So, impersonal is actually his meditation. He also meditates, but he meditates on the impersonal aspect of the Lord. Right? He meditates on the Lord, all pervading presence of the Lord. And I am part of that. So, that is the kind of meditation he has. But Acharya still reveals that is not the highest. The highest is the personal form of the Lord. Therefore, even Arjuna, when he saw the Vishwarupa, he says to Krishna, Krishna, please remove it now. I don't want to see it anymore. He is a devotee. A devotee is not interested to see power display of the Lord. He wants to see the sweet personal form of the Lord. Okay? Suppose you have a friend. Now you are interested to see his power or you want to deal with him like a friend. The devotee is in personal contact with the Lord. He has cultivated loving devotion service to the Lord. So he wants to see like that. That is the nature of a devotee. But in this world, just like this joke happened, that is so far away. This whole knowledge is so far away. Recently we started in the college Vedic science. Some students I used to teach previously, but not so rigorous. I told you there was a friend of mine who was part of BI. Prabhupada made 3 institutes. One he made ISKCON, other he made BPT, third he made BI, Bhaktivinoda Institute. Some input I got from him, how they teach to the scientific community. So it started developing. Previously I did have, but not so rigorous. Amazing it is, amazing, that approach. And people have to be lifted actually. Today people are so much brainwashed. Recently I was saying, Darwin wrote a book on the original species. And it is said, if you look at all the scientists before Darwin, all were creationists. Everybody said God is there as a creator. Even adaptation when they saw. Even in medicine, somebody showed me analysis, but I have to get you the name. Every department of medicine you see, who brought out anatomy, who brought out this, that was much before Darwin came. All were great devotees of the Lord. So founders of science have been great devotees. Even Einstein had a great idea. There is some spirit much higher than human being. But Newton and all are much more personalist devotees of the Lord. But suddenly it happened in 1850 something when the Darwin proposed his theory on the origin of species. In that paper, somehow many people felt in the scientific community he has given a death blow to the very idea this world has been created by God. He has smashed it. He has proved it. So now what is happening is that people have started studying, and many people for various reasons are having doubt about the theory. Therefore many good books have come. We also have a BPT, a beautiful book which has come out called Rethinking Darwin. Very systematic book. And now what happened is that BI anyway has been working on that, but somebody compiled it all together. Previously we had a magazine called Origin that also has the book. Rethinking Darwin is updated. It's very nice. So, I tell you the joke from that. On the whole book, there is not a single page which shows how life first originated. Darwin doesn't spend. You are saying, you are going to say, I'm going to speak on origin of species. You didn't even tell how the life started. He doesn't spend one line on it. So people have to even know about what kind of idea he has. Either it is Lamarckian, he mentions his foolishness to somebody in one letter. There was one man, freak accident actually it is, but he lost his 3 fingers because of accident. And his son was born without 3 fingers. So it shows, because how random variation goes to next generation, this guy had a zero idea. There was no conception of genetics, anything at that time. So he said, just like a Lamarckian idea, the giraffe thing, and later it was proved to be completely farce. Because unless the change is there in the reproductive cell, whatever you acquire doesn't go to the next generation. Okay? You go to gym and develop muscles this much, your child will not have it. That change has to occur in the reproductive cell. So this random variation completely lost meaning. Actually Darwin's theory was dumped very soon. Later it was revived by atheists in the name of neo-Darwinism. But I tell you the joke still, because they have not solved the still joke. In one letter, he accepts to the Haeckel's idea of that time that cell is nothing, because unicellular cell, life has to start from a cell, is nothing but a undifferentiated global of protoplasm. And it is just like when you heat your milk, on the top there is a drop of ghee. It's some kind of that's, even the microscope at his time was so elementary, you can't have any idea more than that anywhere. Okay? That is the level of ignorance he was. And in that level of ignorance, when you say life just started on its own, he wrote to one friend in a letter, somewhere in a pond it just would have started. Because the very idea of life was something like a global. And if you go further, now when they started going inside a cell and started studying, they are stunned. Recently, one Nobel laureate made a statement, I am seeing inside a cell, this is from a Nobel laureate in medicine and so many things. Either somebody wants, I can give those presentations now. He says that the amount of information I am seeing inside a cell is like a city. Not even like amount of details. And there are like nano machines. Now we are all trying to make nano batteries, nano machines. Now they want to make a nano watch is coming from Apple. Nano, everything nano is very small. Atomic level, molecular level you want to make machines. They say it's there inside a cell. All this mitochondria, everything is nothing but nano machines. When I see so many of them inside, only thing that satisfies me, conception of God. Otherwise I can't accept this. I am completely wonderstruck. As far as you tell me it has already been out now. Just like you have a cycle lock. There are 3 rings in it. What is the probability you will get the right match? 1 in 1,000. Okay? If you don't know the number, how much chance you have you'll open the cycle lock in 1 minute? Mostly you will not open it. Correct? Now just increase the number of rings in it. Make it 100, 150 or 20, because that is the 20 amino acids and 150 is the minimum number in a protein. So 20 to the power of 150, which is 10 to the power of almost 200, that is the probability that one protein is found. And there are at least 60 proteins in the simplest of cells. Even scientists with all reasonable intelligence say this cannot occur. Mathematicians say there is something called threshold. After 10 to the power of 50, the event cannot occur. There is some threshold of chance, how much you can go for. So they have actually thrown away the chance. Any reasonable scientist say, I can't accept. When it was a protoplasm, okay, oil in a drop in a water, that's what they thought a cell is. We could accept. So now they are having started. Now, the problem is, if you believe the scientists till now, or you continue even after the evidence coming that God is not there, sir, following them, you're going to go to hell. Because when you are an atheist, don't think it's a great offense to be an atheist. And to do activities in atheistic is still more offensive. And you defy God, you speak against God, you're never grateful for all the kindness of God. This all you will put into trouble. And you'll nicely beat it or Yamududdha. And at that time, the science community gives you a call. We are sorry to tell you, actually, God must be there. What's the use? What's the use? So similarly, even Duryodhana was a similar person. He defied authority of Krishna throughout. Krishna personally went for the peace. Correct? Personally, Krishna went for the last peace offer. And there, when this guy was again not agreeing to the peace offer, Krishna showed him many moves, Vishwarupa there. Still, before showing to Arjuna, he showed there also. Because this fellow with Karna came to arrest Krishna. And Krishna said, we started laughing, idiots. Sort of many Vishnu. Bhishma and all fell at the fit. His father, Dhritarashtra, he cried. He said, I am blind, my lord. Can I see your form? Everybody was. Gandhari came and so many personalities, came and shouted at Duryodhana, please accept the peace of God. That's what happened. But he never accepted. Just like this idiot atheist of today. And then when the battle was going on, by one, every day Krishna used to do something inconceivably done. He did it. Sometimes chariot has gone inside the ground. Sometimes the cloud has come suddenly. Sunset. Jayadratha was killed by a sun. Krishna created a sunset just to kill Jayadratha. For Arjuna. What all tamasha was going on? Sometimes some Divya Astra has gone to kill, and then Krishna rises up, accepts the whole thing in the garden, And then what happened? Duryodhana asked, Bhishma, you always said this person is God. Is he God? So we will end up like that only finally. Even he had a doubt finally. So if you maintain, even therefore, our idea is not counter science. It's together. If there is a sincere scientist, we have to dovetail him. You can't, if you go and just attack him, that's not fair. He's trying to search the truth. Accept that element. Say, with science, you will approach. He will smile. You can't tell him to stop science. That is not possible. You tell him with science, you will approach. Therefore, it is very nice if this approach is cultivated. In fact, spirituality can learn from science. Science has to learn from spirituality. Spirituality, if you see previously in India, was so systematic. Everybody had to go to Gurukul. And what they're learning was spiritual science. And organized. Just like you have in fact, Lord Macaulay's work was this, to dismantle this. Systematically, when the Britishers came to India, just like you see in, Muslims have that morning they have. All the children have to go to learn Quran. This was there. Because everybody's child has to go to Gurukul. No exception. System, it's a rule. And when you go to Gurukul, there is a system of education. And if you want to organize it, you can have it right from childhood. Because 5 to 25 years, every child had a Gurukul education of 20 years. Everybody. Today also you are having a 20-year education similarly, correct? But well organized. But today somehow we lost. Another very important point which had it, questioning. How much questioning was there? You see in Bhagavad Gita, how many questions Arjuna asked? Therefore it says, if you want to learn spiritual science, pranipatena. First you have to look for a person who knows. And then next, pariprashnena. You have to inquire. Today nobody inquires. Even if they have what they have, generally when they hear about some Satyanarayana Katha will be there at home, do they ask questions? No, it's a great offense to ask questions. Just hear. Don't even take it seriously, just to hear. No, you can't learn if you don't ask questions. Prabhupada says, if you are so unfortunate, you can't take advantage. Just like if you have a teacher, if you have a doubt, ask question. No, why you keep it to yourself? If you don't ask a question, how are you going to learn? That's what Sonam Bhattacharya asked Lord Chaitanya. You heard it for 7 days, you don't have any question. Correct? How the teacher know what the student has understood or not understood? Correct? We don't know what he has understood or not unless he asks a question. Then you know his level of ignorance or level of enlightenment. So very important, this questioning. Now we see this feature is so much there in science. There are question papers. In fact, Srila Prabhupada also, before he left the world, talked about examination system within the movement. And I see some temples implemented that, they're getting phenomenal results. Phenomenal results. The examination system is, kuch padha, wo ho gaya. That doesn't work. No sir. Examination systems. Now examination of Gita, first 6 chapters. Then somebody finishes Gita, then there is Bhagavata. And if somebody has done Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita very nicely, passed all examination, proper writes in a letter giving detailed program, he will call Bhakti Vedanta. And if he has studied more, he will call Bhakti Vaibhava. These titles will be given. Like that, Prabhupada made elaborate, system. He give an idea, do this. Now many temples have implemented that, that Shraddha, Seva camps. At least, I was thinking, I'll develop that. We can make something kind of a workbook, and that, person's name is there, details, address, everything is there. And his beginning will be when he starts chanting the names of the Lord. He understands who is God, what is God, because that is the beginning, correct? How Krishna is the Supreme Personality. He knows what is the mantra to be chanted. Shraddha 1, Shraddha, one level. Next level, Sevaka. When he goes to another platform wherein he, has read more certain books, he has ingrained regular association, he has started some Seva. Sevaka means not only Shraddha, now Seva has started, some Seva he is doing to the Lord every day. And then Sadhaka, now his faith is more firm. The whole system, many ways people are developed. It's very nice, full record is there. And a person also, when he begins spiritual life, the whole idea of it to be taken, just like some people go to, Swamiji, how you convince me God is there? I cannot do it in 5 minutes first. That's not possible, sir. You can convince me Schrodinger equation in 5 minutes. You have to teach me theta, cos theta, tan theta. You have to teach me trigonometry. Then it goes. Then you have to teach me Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Decade dar lagta hai. You have to teach me systematically. Suddenly I get scared. So similarly, what has been a mistake in India is that we have a great fortune, but half knowledge is the dangerous thing. We from childhood, everybody in India knows there is something called sannyas, there is something called vairagya, there is something called God. Everybody. Prabhupada says, as much you try to take an Indian and make him imitate Western culture, he can't do it. Because somewhere in the heart he knows it's always bogus. I have the personal experience, I told you many times. I met so many people to certify that. As much I may be trying to imitate the modern culture, which is called hedonism. Hedonism means I just become happy by sense enjoyment. As much you try to make, therefore India has a special privilege. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you have an advantage of thousands of years of culture, which is there within you. You have that advantage. Bharat Bhumila Janma Hoy Yaar, you're so fortunate. Janma Sarthak Kari. Take advantage of that fortune. And what do? Karo benefit the whole world. So this systematic education is something which should be introduced. In fact, Prabhupada said, my books should be introduced as textbooks in colleges. It's a long way to go. I just entered, and there also I could not introduce any of these books because I was worried it could be taken as religious or something. But anyway, Prabhupada wanted. Prabhupada even wanted, if needed, he said, you write books. Needed in some way. So anyway, he wanted the spiritual education to systematically to be given in the society. And Prabhupada said, temples are a place for that. Temples are not a place for rituals only. True, rituals is a part of Pancharatra. It should go on, seva to the Lord. But there is a knowledge center where spiritual education is given to the society. People to learn spiritual education will come to the temple. Why people have lost interest by going to temples? Even if they go with a sincere desire to learn, who is teaching anything there? They are, at least in South India, we don't have pandas. North India, we are. You are from North India? No. You are not seen. I have seen. I think here I am the only one from. We just enter the place. First, there will be line of queue of beggars outside the temple. You don't find anywhere here. And you go inside there, Panda is waiting, bigger beggar only. He will not leave you unless he gets 500 rupees. Seeing the kind of dress he has, he will cater to you. And it's miserable. We don't feel like going again. Even then, proper reason, actually many people who are spiritually inclined, they get fed up. They say, actually Prabhupada said, these people there are making the holy place unholy by their presence. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of the great acharyas of Parampara, when he was the chief of Jagannath Puri, the biggest number of pandas there, he disciplined them like anything. But today nobody has that courage. The government is least bothered. They are badly interested. Don't go. You work hard, earn money. Don't go. So, but it's not the right thing. So this spiritual education should be systematically given to the society. And it should be, different, course of Bhagavad Gita, different levels, Bhagavatam course, Chaitanya Charitamrita course. Then as it is implemented, at least now we have, whichever way we have learned in an organized way, disorganized way, but you have learned anyway. But now for the society, there is something called in professional ethics, egocentric tendency. I give you this example. It's just like this. Suppose I put a switchboard outside. Engineers think, that's fine. I write 440 volt and I walk away. But that's not fine. Because what is written there? You have to write in Kannada, danger. You have to write in Kannada, Abhaya something. You write in English. You have to write in Hindi. Correct? And not only that, for uneducated man, you have to make a mundi and 2 bows. So when you are teaching Krishna consciousness also to the society, somehow we also develop egocentric tendency. मेरे को गीता समझ आ गई तो सबको समझ आ गई. It's not true. That man who comes, he doesn't know anything. You have to know wear his shoes and understand. Therefore, when you make a systematic education system for the society, one thing, person in the first class, he knows he has to go to second class. The landmark is in front of him right from the beginning. Correct? Number 2, you filter out sincere people out. Because among fools, the person thinks that's enough. Just like we have some people, they have been coming from ages, they chant only 1 round. The Tiwari family, 1 round. Sometimes I catch his son, they say, you should chant more. One is enough, others say. So if you do, and they think that's fine. If you have systematic standards, first class, second class, the person knows if I want to stay at first class, I am at first class. At least he knows that, no? At least person knows. But different surrender to Krishna cannot be sudden. Shanai. Bhagavad Gita, it said, no? Gradually. It's not that you put a pressure on somebody, but at least everybody should know these are the different landmarks which I have to follow. Now society gives another kind of landmark and they are frustrated in that. Now you should get a job, then you should get married, then you should produce children. Even my parents or all society I am seeing, they have already done that and I look on their face, they are frustrated. Why you are dragging me on the same landmarks? That's what is happening in the society. They make landmarks and they drag you. And it is so frustrating. I am not convinced. Let us offer to the society, independent of this, may be there or may not be there, the spiritual landmarks. If you have these landmarks, if you travel on them, because material landmarks are also covered by so many factors. The level of intelligence I have. Some karma is influencing, sometimes situation is going haywire, correct? Material landmarks maybe get disturbed. Anything can happen to you. You will get into depression. But if I am traveling on spiritual landmarks, independent of the material condition, I can impress you. How beautiful it will be. True or not? How nice it will be. So therefore, actually, as an idea, I'm just telling an idea. Morning when I'm doing japa, that idea came. I'm just telling that idea. That how nice it will be in the society. Because Prabhupada already told, Acharya already told, develop a system of education and examination system. And some temples which have that amazing results and produce. Rest, okay, what they do, some of the temples they manage just like, the rich people make temples. How it is managed? How it is managed? You hire a pujari and put there. There are many temples just managed by Odisha and Bengal, you get some hire and manage. What is the value? It's not a place for education, it's not a place for learning. And those temples will develop a systematic program of learning, are seeing miraculous results actually. So therefore, in essence, we can understand and then we can implement and people will benefit. So the meditation is said now, to revise now, a meditation of a karmi is just on sense objects. And he thinks, he keeps on a fantasy, I'll be happy if I get that. So his happiness or unhappiness depends upon that. A jnani is a person still a little higher than that. He's a jnana now. He's understood something. What is understood? What is understood? Pa, fa, ba, bha, ma. These are in, I don't know, here people don't know Hindi. In Hindi, these are called, in Sanskrit also, this is the pavargas. Kavarga, chavarga, tavarga, tavarga, pavarga. Kakakagaya, chachajaya, tatatana, papapapama. A top scientist recently made a statement. If you want to teach robots to speak, better teach them Sanskrit. It is so scientific. Can't you see the science? Even in the vocabulary. Kakakagaya, chachajaya, tatatana. You define why it has come. Even you can, if they want to speak, correct, from their mouth, it goes palate by palate, correct? Ka is starting from cha, ta. So organized. And you go this way, you go this way, you go this way, it's scientific. You can't speak CUT cut and BUT but or CAT, it is all in English, it doesn't make sense actually. And even Sanskrit, every pronunciation is what you read. You cannot, even in other Indian languages, all it's like that. In English, it is strange actually. PUT put and BUT but, it is contradictory. It's not scientific, but Sanskrit is so scientific. So it's so beautiful actually. So, pa, ba, 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 even in material existence, I am endeavoring so hard. Labor is not enjoyable, sir. Enjoyment and labor is contradictory. Therefore, people are frustrated. They want to enjoy, but you have to do labor. You have to work 18 hours. Contradictory. So, parishrama is first suffering we are having in the material existence. This is for a karmi. For sometimes night outs, or so much hard work, you're going crazy. Acute suffering because of. And then bifala. Bifala is that even though I am working so hard, I am depressed after that. I am so much suffering is going into society, you see. Correct? That is called bifala. Bifala means no result. I work so hard, but I am not happy. And then bhaya. Bhaya means fearful of material existence. I may die at any moment, anything can happen. And then mrityu, death, as sure as death. So these five constitute the suffering of material existence. And when a person understands that, he comes to the second platform called jnani. Okay? And jnani, what he meditates upon? Karmi only meditates on the features of opposite sex, or he meditates on some big car. Therefore, what is there in a hostel they will put on the room, one big car, or some photo of opposite sex. Because that is what they are contemplating, that is what comes there. Just like face is the index of the mind, whatever poster is there in the room is the index of his mind. So it shows them. The next level is jnani, he will not put that picture. Jnani, he may put a picture of Vishnurupa of the Lord, or he understands that I am not body, I am soul. He may meditate on the all-pervading soul, something like that. He knows at least Angur Khatte, at least that much he has understood. And then next is a bhakta. He meditates on the personal feature of the Lord, and he wants to serve the Lord. Now, advancement from karmi to jnani or jnani to bhakta, you need a guru. You cannot do it on your own. Just like to learn engineering, you have to go to a college. Follow the disciplines. Correct? They say give examination, you have to give examination. They say you have to come 8 o'clock, you have to come 8 o'clock. You have to do whatever they tell. If they do the assignment, you do. Then they say, you will be given degree. And spiritual education? No. I don't have to go to anywhere to learn. I can imagine anything. That's the insult to the spiritual science. A science cannot imagine. You have to go and learn. Okay? Do you imagine your medicine? I sit at home and I imagine. Yeah, you imagine. You will kill only people. You have to learn systematically. There was a person. I will end with this now. What happened? He was a doctor. A good veterinary doctor. You have heard this story? Bhaksanda Prabhupada story. Prabhupada repeat the story. And then he says he went to some place with this, sometimes cows, they swallowed watermelon. The animal, very shant, pious animal. But mistakes happen, swallowed a watermelon. Prabhupada says something, cow, so simple. A simple animal. You keep 10 cows in a place, they'll peacefully sit. And it gives us milk. Even the urine, yes, and even the cow dung. You remove 2 lakh crore subsidy government of India gives to fertilizer, this chemical fertilizer, which is anyway killing people. You remove the subsidy today. Tomorrow you see people worshipping cows. Britishers, when they came to India, they wanted to sell their fertilizer. The first thing they slaughtered the cows. Because cow dung is the best fertilizer. Best fertilizer. You remove this 2 lakh crore subsidy, which anyway government of India is struggling to pay today, correct? For the fertilizer. You see cow being worshipped. They'll not worship us directly, they'll worship because cow dung is so valuable. It will become value of, because trend of fertilizer has real value in the market. Then cow dung will become like a gold. People will run, they will steal cow dung. And cow urine, in Ayurveda, it is considered the best medicine, cow urine. And actually it is a wonderful medicine. Prabhupada says, what a noble animal, even its stool and urine is useful for you. What a beautiful animal. And the milk is a magic food. You don't have anything, just a milk you can survive. It's a gentleman way of having animal food because you give no pain to the cow. And cow also, takes what? It takes. Anyway, so let me not sidetrack now. So what happened? This cow swallowed a watermelon. So this veterinary doctor came, the cow was in great trouble, so the man called him. So what he did, he understood first what had happened. He took a hammer and he broke, it was in the throat. He broke the watermelon. So he had an assistant. Now what this assistant understood, he said, I know it's so easy now to solve any medical problem of animals. Just put a hammer. Now this fellow left him, this assistant. And this veterinary doctor came to know this fellow has killed so many animals. And he ran after him, village after village. Finally found him in some village. What he was doing, any animal comes with some problem, he takes my hammer and starts hitting it. Wherever. Head is paining, hit it. The animal will die. Stomach is paining, hit it. So similarly, our spiritual education, also society is like that. This like that half knowledge is a dangerous. That is what happens. So in that sense, there is need of systematic spiritual education in society, and we want to take them to the highest plan. We don't want to leave them to the Jnani level. We don't want to leave them to the impersonal level. We want to take them back home, back to the kingdom of God. Okay? For that, they should know everything systematically. Shri Prabhupada ki